Hi, it's math time again with Mrs. Depperschmidt. This time we're going to talk a little bit more about reasonableness, only this time as it applies to products and quotients. Hopefully you'll remember from third grade that a product is the result you get when you multiply two numbers together, and a quotient is the result from a division operation. So we'll talk about reasonableness when we multiply and divide today. I'd like to show you this. Reasonableness, or finding out whether our answer is reasonable, will answer the question whether my answer is close to correct, if it's anywhere near being a possibility of the right answer. That's what rounding and estimation will do for us, is to kind of see if we need to check our work a little more closely, if there's a possibility that we were way out of whack. As it shows here, multiplying a product is the answer you get when you multiply. A quotient is the answer you get when you divide. So let's charge ahead. We're going to start with the product. I've written a multiplication example here, and I've done the multiplying. Now we're going to round off and do the multiplication again to see if we're in the ballpark. I've rounded 836 to 800, the nearest hundred, and I've rounded 11 to 10, because those two numbers, 800 and 10, are very close to the actual numbers in the example, and I know that those are very simple to work with. I know that 800 multiplied by 10 gives me a result of 8,000. And when I compare that with the answer I calculated in my multiplication, something does not seem right. 8,000 is not at all close to 10,698. In fact, it's almost 3,000 away. That's going to make a big difference when we need to know an exact answer. So that tells me that I better do my multiplication again. You've probably noticed some mistakes in that example, and you'll understand that I did those on purpose for illustration here. But now I'll calculate again to show you how this estimation really tells me that my answer is not reasonable at all, and I better check it and do the work again. When I multiply 836 by 11, the result is actually what you see here. Turns out that the result is 9,196. Now that, you'll notice, is a lot more reasonable and closer to 8,000 than 11,000, or close to 11,000 would have been. So estimating to find if it's reasonable can really help you to know when you should do the work over again. Let's do another example now, and this one will be with a quotient. This is a division problem. We're going to work with 3,208 divided by 80. And it looks like this when I set it up to do the long division without using a calculator. This example shows that we're trying to find out how many groups of 80 there are in 3,208. So I'll go ahead and do that calculation, and then we'll see if the answer I get is reasonable. We'll know then if we need to try again. All right, I've done the division, and my result, the answer I've come up with, is 400 remainder 8. That means there are 400 groups of 80 in 3,208, with 8 left over, that we could not make another group of 80. We would need 72 more to make that be 401. Now, to estimate and check if our work is a reasonable answer, we're going to do this. It's round, then estimate. I haven't rounded the 80 at all because I'm very familiar with how powers of 10 work, so I'm going to work with 80. And I also can see that 3,200 is a number that's going to work really well with 80. I know this because of my experience with numbers and because I know my multiplication facts. I can relate this to 8 and 32, which we know is a multiple of 4. 8 times 4 is 32. So I can work with it this way, and this tells me that my exact answer, when my rounded answer, is 400, which you'll notice is extremely close to 400 with only 8 left over. So because my estimate is so close to what I actually calculated, that's a good indication that the work I did is probably correct and very reasonable answer. It is also possible, however, that I made mistakes in both of those, and we'll need to make sure we're accurate so those kind of things don't happen. But using estimation to check for reasonableness is a great practice. It's a good habit to have, and you'll oftentimes catch your own mistakes if you do this. I'm hoping you're having a great time. Remember to be kind, and I'll see you at school.